Good morning, everybody. I'm Keith Kalm. I am Senior Sales Associate with Margaritaville Resort Orlando. You've probably seen my emails or heard my voice on your voicemails. A gentleman across the table from me is Steve Galata. He is Director of Sales for Encore Resorts Orlando as well as Margaritaville Resort Orlando.
Good evening.
The gentleman to my right is Nick Falcone. He is Managing Partner of LRR and Rental that you've now seen. So what we'd like to do is answer all your questions that you came on line items with and more of a conversation. So due to the weight and the gravity of this, we had Nick come in so that he can address your questions directly and be able to facilitate the operation for you a little quicker as need be. So I'll leave it up to Nick Falcone.
Thank you, Keith. Really appreciate the great introduction. And I just wanted to start by saying hello to everybody. I haven't personally had the opportunity to speak with any of you yet, and so it's very exciting for me to have this opportunity and to really talk about our company, talk about what we do, how we differentiate. I think by the end of this video, you guys will see that we have a very unique business model and one that we're very excited to bring to the Margaritaville brand. With Margaritaville, we're extremely excited because, as all of you would agree, it's just an incredible brand. It brings incredible energy, and what it will do for the hospitality in Orlando and what this project can do for the Orlando market, I think will be off the charts. You guys have really invested in a great property, and we're really excited to have the opportunity to manage those properties. And at the end of the day, it's all about great service, great returns, and really putting the brand in a great place. So that's really our goals, our focus point. As Keith mentioned, I'm the CEO of Rental as well as Luxury Residential Resorts LLC. So to go into that and talk about what is the differences between those companies, I think it really is great to start with our vision and where we're going with our business and how we're looking to represent ourselves within the market. So when it comes to our business, we do not have the goal of marketing ourselves as promoting ourselves as a rental management company. We feel that between Margaritaville Resort Orlando, between Encore Resort at Reunion, which is another resort that we're associated with, we think that there's a new age of vacation home rental that's coming that we are developing. And what that means is, instead of the days of vacation rental, rental management, we are really creating something that we like to call vacation home resort brands. And so what is a vacation home resort brand? And how does that differentiate from vacation rental? The key would be that we really represent not just the cottage experience, the home experience, but really the entire resort experience. For us, it's all about having the comforts of home and the comforts of that vacation home and combining it with the amazing experience of a world-class resort. So instead of just getting that great home, you're able to come get great dining experiences, great amenities, great services, the consistency of service, the consistency of those execution of those items. That's what really turns a vacation home into a vacation home resort brand. On top of that, one of the key factors of making that happen and making that very easy to understand to the consumers, which is the guests in this particular instance that I'm referring to, we like to have it where the rental management aspect of the company and the resort brand marketing aspect to consumers as two separate entities. And that's where rental and luxury residential resorts comes into play. So when we talk about luxury residential resorts, to a guest, the people that are going to be renting these units, that is a blind entity. We do not promote luxury residential resorts. We don't want to mix anything that has to do with property management and rental. Why? Because when you're looking for a rental, we want to engage with you. We want to have it where our marketing speaks to you. If you go to our website and you're seeing buy a home, rent a home, manage your property, there's a confusion already that sets in a guest's mind, and that's something that, again, with our concept of branded vacation home resorts, we want to change that mindset. We want people to come to our website when they're looking to rent and see nothing but the rental aspect, the experience, the brand. That's what our business is about. So, as I stated, luxury residential resorts would be that owner-facing aspect to our business. That would be the company that we refer to when we are speaking with the owners, with yourselves. That is who you're having a contract with, is luxury residential resorts. Now, with that being said, rental and luxury residential resorts is common ownership. So by entering into a management contract with luxury residential, you are then getting the benefit of rental. And so in essence, with rental, we are not just developing the Margaritaville brand, and hopefully we'll do many Margaritaville resorts with Margaritaville, but we have other brands such as Encore and 4 others currently in our portfolio. So think of rental kind of similar to how Marriott is. Marriott, if you look at Marriott, it's an umbrella brand. Marriott represents 40 plus brands ranging from Starwood to Ritz-Carlton to Courtyard, and we could keep going for quite some time. Each one of those brands represents a different appeal to different people in the market. As we could all imagine, the clientele they're marketing to for Ritz-Carlton and a Courtyard are very different. And what that allows them to do is have flexibility of who they can reach out to in the tourism market and who they could sell to, which is a great strategy because we want to be able to have a product that appeals to everybody, or not one product, but multiple products so that we can really capture different aspects of the market. So with rental, we will be developing multiple brands, the first brands in vacation rental, and having it where when you think of a brand, what makes a brand successful? Well, consistency. You have to know that when you come to the property, you know what to expect. If I go to a Ritz-Carlton, I know I'm expecting high-end and great service. When you go to a Margaritaville resort, it's the same concept. They have a brand standard. They have something that people come to expect, whether they go to the hotel or the cottages. So we will be making sure one of our core focuses as a company is ensuring that the brand, the way the brand is supposed to be perceived, is executed to a T. We want that to be completely spot on. On top of that, success of a brand also means you have to be able to replicate that brand. You have to be able to have multiple destinations. So in rental, our business, we do anticipate recreating these brands all over the country and eventually all over the world. When you come to Encore Resort or you come to Margaritaville, again, if we can partner with Margaritaville in the future on more resorts, we hope to have it where you go to the Margaritaville Resort Orlando or you go to one in Las Vegas and you have a similar experience when it comes to services and amenities and the way that the brand is perceived. So again, just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page, luxury residential resorts, the owner-facing side of the business. Rental is the guest consumer-facing side of the business where we will be creating the first brands in the vacation home resort brand market. With that being said, just to also touch on some of your questions on ownership, we have absolutely zero ownership in anything real estate at this time. We are completely a hospitality company. So with that being said, we have no relationship when it comes to ownership with Encore or any of their affiliates, and vice versa. No one at Encore has any kind of relationship from an ownership perspective with any of my businesses. So we are a completely standalone entity, and but we very much look forward to working with Margaritaville, working with Encore, collaborating with Ace Hospitality, so we can make this resort and this brand the best possible and really making it stick out, which is going to help all of us. So with that being said, I also want to talk about our company infrastructure and where we've come from, what we've been doing over the last few years, and the people of our business. So as you can see next to me, we have our owner sales relations team, Steve and Keith, and they will be your guys' point contact in regards to getting into the program and understanding our program, how we differentiate, how everything works. And then the second that you guys do enter into our program and decide that we are the rental management company for you, we also have an owner relations team that will be your point contact throughout the investment. So that will be somebody you can call at any time for questions, learning about your statement, knowing what's happening, booking your house or reserving your house, letting us know that you want to come stay, really anything you can imagine. You have a question, you have a need, you have anything, that owner relations team will be there for you, dedicated to you. Going a step further, we have a massive infrastructure. So, this might be a little long-winded, but it's important you all understand our business and what we bring to the table. So starting with operations, we currently, as I've stated a couple times already, operate Encore Resort at Reunion, which is about 10 minutes down the road. And with that, we have a very robust corporate infrastructure we've developed in anticipation of Margaritaville Resort Orlando. So with that being said, we have everything from VP of Operations that will be overseeing both properties, Our VP Peter has amazing experience in hotel vacation rental. He was GM at Swan and Dolphin at one point. He also had a very high lead role with Bobby Ginn and Salamander back in Reunion. Has a great experience when it comes to vacation home resort brands. And Peter has also had club operation responsibilities. So really everything that will be happening at this property, understanding the club component with the owners, understanding how we can interact with the hotel, the rental management aspect, we bring great experience. On top of that, we have a corporate facilities director that has a very similar level of experience and will be overseeing all facilities, maintenance, anything that has to do with any of our facilities on site at Margaritaville Resort Orlando. You go a step further, we have a corporate purchasing director. This is very, very important, I think, for all of us, because it really will help in savings. We do a lot of bulk purchasing, a lot of bulk buy across properties, and so having that scalability will be nothing but a benefit to you guys, where when we're having to buy items or bring items into the unit, we'll have very great scalable pricing. Going a step further from an operations perspective, we have everything from front desk teams, night audit teams, teams that will be doing inspections of units, dedicated teams, teams that are dedicated to guest service and answering guest service calls. We have a full 24-hour manned operations line. So you are calling, your guests have an issue, you have an issue, you have a need, you want to know how something works on property, we will be there 24 hours to answer that call and make sure we're there for the owners and the guests. We also have a great internal maintenance team, so everything from minor maintenance repairs to major repairs, to spot checks and everything in between. We have that internally in-house already, and we'll be building a dedicated team with oversight from our current management team at Margaritaville Resort. On top of that, we also have a dispatch team when it comes to dispatching all of our needs. And finally, we have a very, very robust housekeeping team that we'll be bringing to the table that does a spectacular job, not just in housekeeping, but also inventorying of the unit to ensure that items are being tracked and accounted for, which is very, very important for the program and making sure we're maintaining the standards and the quality and the number of things on every single unit. Going now to more of the marketing side of the world, that's where I would say we even have a more robust infrastructure. So starting with our VP of Revenue, can't stress the importance enough of this position. Our VP of Revenue, Jennifer, comes from an amazing background with hotel revenue management. Background in Ritz-Carlton as their VP of Revenue, also worked with Waldorf Astoria, and along with a few other really, really amazing brands. When you look at revenue management and vacation rental, it's practically non-existent. So I'll be talking later on in the presentation about how we are taking revenue management to the next level, and we're also bringing in amazing systems that really no one in vacation rental has ever implemented to help with making sure we're maximizing rate and forecasting to bring in the best business for the bottom line. Because at the end of the day, not all business is equal, and we'll touch on that in a second as well. Going a step further from our VP of Revenue and who she would oversee, we have our regional director of revenue, so somebody that will handle more of the day-to-day aspects of rate management and making sure that we're obtaining the highest revenues possible. Also, we have a full in-house call center, and that call center, staffed with everything from managers. We have about 15 call center agents. We have a full training team, and so I find there's a lot of different ways to do call center. A lot of people outsource. This is a very unique product, and what we're doing is a very unique business plan. So we felt that having this internal call center team, having them really here local in Orlando, knowing the product, living, eating, breathing, sleeping that product, they're going to be able to sell it better. They're going to be able to explain it better. And we really pride ourselves on our conversion rate in the call center and the abilities that we bring to the table because of that. Also managed by our revenue team would be our data analysts. So we have 2 data analysts, and literally all they do is go through our automated reportings, crunch numbers, find trends, and think of ways that we can optimize. So it's we have most of that happening automatically, but you still need somebody that's really looking for the trends, looking for ways that we can make it that much better, and that's what these analysts do. Going now to more of the marketing side, we have a very robust marketing team. So our marketing manager, Nick Hager, he's been in the hospitality world through hotels and vacation rental for the last 20 years, bringing a great deal of experience to the table when it comes to resort marketing. We also have Milagros, who is our remarketing manager, and what her responsibilities would be is to manage our CRM, our customer relations management tool, which will be the email programming to renters, so that we could remarket to them and bring them to the site. Or it might be someone that's already booked, and having that dialogue with them afterwards to ensure that they're coming back. Or it could be people that have been quoted and we want to take them to that conversion. So CRM is a big part of our marketing strategy. Milagros also manages our customer relations in regards to responding to reviews on our online sites. So she does a great job making sure that whether it's a positive review or a negative review, we want to make sure that we are responding to all. Every single review to me warrants a response, and it's creating a relationship with that guest. So you could have had the best time in the world. We want to still relate to you, and we want to create that relationship so you feel like we're part of the family. And every year come back and let's spend time together. That's really our mentality. On top of that, with the marketing team, we also just brought in-house a creative designer, and this gentleman, Xavier, has been a freelance designer for the last 10 years. We were very, very blessed to find him, because he brings professional photography and videography to the table. So we no longer have to outsource our videography and photography, which creates a great deal of flexibility when it comes to creating content for our marketing needs. But Xavier also helps with and builds our websites, manages our websites, as well as any of our marketing materials such as newsletters, banner ads, display ads, you name it. He can create it all. So it really helps with an efficiency standpoint of how quickly we can pump out marketing and respond to trends that are happening, let's say on social media or different things, so that we could really engage with our consumers. The last pieces of our marketing team would really come into our digital marketing. So we have an in-house social media person, we have an in-house SEO, search engine optimization person, and for those of you that aren't familiar with search engine optimization, think of it as a way to organically, without paying, get your link to our website, let's call it, higher in the search results. So let's say you're a consumer and you're searching vacation home Orlando. We want to be on the first spot. That's what SEO is making sure that we are doing everything necessary to get to that first spot and have it where we have the most exposure for that website, for that listing, which will turn into more bookings. Lastly, we have a digital marketing expert, which will do all of our placement when it comes to pay-per-click. So pay-per-click would be the same thing as SEO, except we're paying for it. So if our SEO efforts aren't getting us to the top, then we put dollars in to get us to the top. And then they also will manage all of our digital display, which is ads that you will see on different websites as you're scrolling through the online web. And they will also manage our online video. So anything that we are doing on YouTube or Vimeo or any of the video platforms out there, which for this type of product is an amazing way to market, because it really helps us explain how we differentiate and what to expect when you come onto the property. So that's our marketing team. Going now to group and wholesale, that's a huge part of our marketing and our sales strategy. We have an extremely robust sales and wholesale team. So our director of sales and wholesale, Eliana Villarta, has been in the industry for 25 years. Again, traditionally hotel and vacation rental, a mix of both, and brings an amazing amount of experience to the table in those markets. She's put together a great team, between 4 group sales managers. With those group sales managers, all of them have 10 to 20 years experience in hospitality, and each one of them specializes in different types of groups and different regions. So everything from domestic, international. We also have it where we split out sports tourism as one specialty. We have leisure family groups as another specialty. And then we also have it where we group together our military and our religious groups as another category, where we have a specialist in those markets. We bring in other types of groups as well, but that just gives you an idea of the flexibility and the specialization we have, where we have dedicated people for every different type of group. That's important because they know their markets, they know where to get the business from and how to convert it. With that being said, we also have a wholesale expert. So we feel very strongly that this is an amazing product for wholesale. It has the resort experience, it has consistency of service and consistency of expectation. That is what wholesalers are looking for, along with bulk inventory in one spot, which a lot of vacation rental management companies cannot create. We will have that here at Margaritaville. So we know, based on our experience at Encore, that wholesale will be a key part of our business. And right now we have about 50 wholesale partners that are just driving a ton of business for us. And so we have a dedicated wholesale manager that specializes in that side of the world. We also have 2 group and wholesale coordinators that will really manage putting in the bookings, managing the day-to-day details of making sure that any contracts that are being done are being processed properly. And lastly, when it comes to our sales team, we also have a team of 3 consultants currently. One that has a 20-year experience at ESPN Wide World of Sports. He specializes in sports tourism, and he has also been an Olympic coach of track and field since in every single Olympics he's had a track and field athlete since 1964. So his net, he's an older gentleman, his net and his contacts when it comes to the sports tourism world is off the charts. He was actually just inducted into the Olympic Coaching Hall of Fame for the USA. He knows every international coach and team and so much about sports tourism from his workings at ESPN Wide World. So that will be a major part of our business model. And at Encore, we're actually in the process of hopefully finalizing building a sports complex, which will benefit both Encore as well as Margaritaville, because we will be running our own events where we'll have it where it's a stay and play event. And the people that are staying on property, to participate in the event, you'll have to stay on one of the properties. So it'll create a captive environment where we'll be driving rentals from something that we're creating over here in the sports tourism world. We go a step further. We have 2 other consultants that specialize in the UK, in the South American markets. They live over there. That's all they do is focus in those markets and bring the biggest wholesalers and the biggest tour operators to the table, so that we can, again, expand our relationships and have people in those markets that speak those languages, know the culture, know how to get the deals done, and most importantly, once the deal is done, know how to maximize the conversion with those deals. So I'm probably missing some of our infrastructure. We have a very large infrastructure. We have a huge team. I can't stress that enough. You are not getting involved with some mom and pop organization where it's 3 guys in a trailer operating your business. This is a massive operation, and we have a tremendous amount of expertise. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of years of experience collectively between the team in all aspects of hospitality, including timeshare. That was one I did not mention, but we have a tremendous amount of people in our industry, in our company, that also have timeshare experience, which I think, just having that wide variety range of experience helps when it comes to marketing and understanding our business. Talking about the current state of our company and where we're at, we are currently only operating at the Encore Resort in Reunion. I kind of touched on this earlier in the presentation, but we only work with resort branded communities. It has to have that component. So if it does not have the resort brand, if it doesn't have the amenities and the service and the experience of a branded community, resort community, we don't touch it. We are not a rental company that will pick up 5 units in this community, 5 units here, and not have services, not have experience for our guests. We only work with communities such as Mro, Margaritaville Resort Orlando, and Encore, and communities like that. So at Encore, we're currently managing 180 units. We're growing very quickly. Since the beginning of the year, that number has gone up pretty significantly, and we plan on really seeing that number grow very much over the next couple of years. Doing a spectacular job over here, and I'll touch on that performance more later in the presentation. But very proud of what we've done here at Encore and what we've been able to establish, and we very much look forward to establishing that same success here at Margaritaville. Another thing about our company, and just touching on the current state, We are officed locally. So right now our offices are in the Encore Resort at Reunion. We will maintain offices at Encore Resort, throughout the life of our company, or at least into the foreseeable future. But we're very proud to announce that one of the buildings that is owned by Rolling Oaks LLC, on site at Margaritaville, we have actually been negotiating with them for quite some time and have entered into a lease negotiation to where we will now have centralized offices right there on Margaritaville property, literally right next to the hotel. We're very excited about that. We have amazing plans for that offices, and it's going to be incredible. We plan on hopefully opening them in November, and we'll be letting you all know about that, because we would love to have a grand opening party and invite all of the owners and really kick it off right, this whole operation side, and get the excitement going, because we're excited. We know it's going to help us service our owners and our guests that much better, and we're really excited to show you guys the layouts, how the building was set up, the thought process behind how we structured the layout, because I think that really is really a great job, and it's really going to help us from an efficiency standpoint. But that was a question that I know was on there, so I just want to reiterate, we do not own the building, and we have entered into a lease negotiation with Encore. I know that there are other tenants in the building that have very small spaces that were, in essence, leased by Encore. I am not aware what the other rental management company is doing, but I'm sure if you ask them, they will be able to tell you. But I can tell you that we will have centralized offices on site, so we're very excited about that. Talking also about other roles and responsibilities, because there were some questions around that. And so what is our role? What do we do as a company, and what don't we do? So really, it's very simple. We are responsible for the cottages. We are responsible for giving you all the best experience, the best service, the best return, and making sure that our guests get the best experience possible, and they keep coming back year after year. That is our responsibility. When it comes to the hotel is managed by Scott Robbins. If you haven't met Scott, he has worked with Margaritaville in the past. He brings just incredible experience to the table, and he will be putting together a hotel team to manage the hotel. When it comes to the club, I was told this morning, actually, on a call with Margaritaville, Encore, and Ace Hospitality, that Encore and Margaritaville will hopefully be making a final decision on a club manager within the next week. But what I can tell you is that club manager is not us. We have we do not have a management contract with the club, and that will be done by somebody, and I'm not sure who that is yet. So when that's announced, I'll be finding out the same way you guys will, and we're excited to find out who that club manager is and start working with them closely. Also, when it comes to the water park, which will be open to the public at the resort, right off the 192, that will be managed by a company named IAM. They're a very experienced water park management company, and they also do licensing for lifeguards and water safety. So they have a great deal of experience when it comes to security, which is another reason why I believe Encore decided to hire them as the water park management company. So they will be managing the water park, and again, we're very excited to work with them. We think a really big part of our business will be packaging with the water park and having a relationship with the water park, so that we can, in essence, make this more of a destination. Not just the resort even, but we have that beautiful retail center, and we have this water park that I think will really enhance that destination appeal. So that is our responsibilities and how things will work there. Another question, I'm just looking at my notes, is that when it comes to resort fees, again, we're not the club. We do not set the resort fees. The club sets the resort fees, and both my company as well as Ace Hospitality will be responsible for collecting and remitting that resort fee to the club in the exact same way, and we will have the exact same resort fees. We do not set them. So whatever those fees are, which we did just get a fee schedule yesterday that Keith and Steve can share with y'all, and that will be the fee schedule. And I think there is the ability to change that. The club can change that, but again, there's that's something that as we know, you all know, and we'll continue to manage that as we're told. So that's how that will work. Now, switching gears, that was kind of the introduction. I think that gives you a good idea of our company, who we are, our infrastructure, our offices, our vision. So hopefully that got you guys pretty excited, because we're really excited on what we're doing and how it's going. So with that being said, now I want to talk a little bit more about operations and how we're going to do certain things operationally on site. I know there was a lot of questions revolving around operations, so that's what we'll go to next. And starting with that, I'm going to start with guest-facing operations. So anything that will impact the guest experience. And the best place to start is the front desk, the check-in, check-out experience, which is something that you all touched on. So I guess the best way to put it is, why I was so excited to obtain a license with Margaritaville is because, again, this brand is incredible. The experience of the brand is incredible. I remember in high school, the first time I would ever, my friend brought me to a Jimmy Buffett concert, I fell in love, and it was just as much about the experience and the energy and the fun as it was about the music, and that really resonates with the brand. And so for a check-in experience, the last thing we want to do is not leverage the experience, the brand. And so we will be having a 24-hour presence where someone will always be able to check someone in at the front desk of the hotel. They will be able to, the second you walk into the hotel will be providing a welcome cocktail, and there'll be tons of energy and music and different things happening around the lobby. We want people to feel that the second they come in. We don't want people to go directly to the home and be in a dark house. That doesn't bring that Margaritaville feeling. That first impression is so key. So we want to really have it. You come in, you're in this grand lobby, you're seeing this amazing energy, the same thing you feel when you're at any kind of Margaritaville experience, and that sets your vacation up for success. That is like that wow moment where you say, I'm here, I'm at Margaritaville. So that is how we'll be doing it. We will have that front desk where people will check in. And then, in essence, from there, we will actually have a bellman team that will, if the guest is interested, we'll tour them around the hotel. And then we will escort them and help them with luggage and tour them to the home and make sure that they get into the home all right. If they have questions about the home, we'll answer them. Again, we're helping them with the luggage, and we're ensuring that that guest has a great experience and a great welcome. So that is how the check-in will work. Check-out is pretty much exactly like a hotel. You could either go to the front desk and you could talk about your folio, put it on whatever card you want, or you could leave. And if because you'll have a card on file, and we'll charge whatever card you had on file, for the folio. So in essence, that is how that will work. And I probably just misspoke a little bit logistically about the folio and who's doing the charges. But again, we'll elaborate more on that if there's any questions. So that is the check-in. That's how that will work. The other thing that's really important to note is that, with our company, we will have the ability, our guests will have the ability to have full access to anything at the club or the hotel. So there's nothing that is shut down to our guests. They have full access to all hotel club amenities, experiences, services. So there was a question about damages and how do we collect and do damages. So again, very similar to a hotel, when you check in at the front desk, you're going to put a card on file. That card on file will be there for damages, and you'll be signing a waiver, very similar to how you sign when you're at a hotel check-in, stating that that card on file will be utilized for any damages that occur, and will recoup from the guest. And on top of that, we also have it where we have a non-refundable fee that we charge that we charge at the time of rental, that will also be a fund for any kind of overflow for damages as needed. So we really have a double protection when it comes to damages, so that it doesn't impact either my bottom line or yours. And we feel very confident. We've been utilizing that practice at Encore, and it's working extremely well. The next thing I would like to touch on is home automation. We've had experience with a couple home automation systems. At first, here at Encore Resort, we were using BeHome 24/7. For those of you that have heard of BeHome 24/7, it's a very, very great company. I don't have really anything negative to say. The only thing that I would say is that we have a better experience with Point Central, which is the company that we will go with. And so both are great companies. I think they're both great options. With Point Central, there's a little bit of a benefit when it comes to connectivity of the product. We don't have connectivity issues with that product because it's on cellular bandwidth versus Wi-Fi. And that was really the key issue with BeHome 24/7, is that we had a lot of issues with Wi-Fi connectivity in the system going down when there were power outages, bad weather, and all kinds of other things. So that is really the key reason for Point Central. But again, great options, and we feel very confident that Point Central will do a great job of managing and creating efficiencies when it comes to energy maintenance and management. It has a humidity control mechanism on the temperature. In Florida, that's a really key feature because we have tremendous humidity. It has a actual custom-built pool controller that, for those of you that will have pool houses, will manage the pool much more effectively. So very excited about implementing that product. And we actually got a little bit of a discount as well off of BeHome 24/7 on a monthly rate there. So that will be extended to you all. So that's our home automation system. I already touched on 24-hour. We will have a 24-hour presence. So again, service is really everything for our business. We want to make sure whether it's an owner that needs something or a renter that we have people present. And so that's a really key feature of our operations. The next thing that there's been a lot of questions swirling around between is furniture. So let me start by saying there are now 2 approved vendors. We found out when you guys found out, I think it was 2 days ago, that City Furniture is now an approved vendor. We were excited about that because we do have a relationship with City Furniture. They do work at Encore as an approved vendor at Encore Resort at Reunion. The City Furniture package is not our package. We have no ownership or anything really to do with that package, other than we will, we'll learn about it, and we will make sure that we have all the information regarding the package, how it works, and anything revolving replacements, repairs, and everything in between. Both options, Ethan Allen and City Furniture, are great options. We're really excited to work with both companies. Ethan Allen has had an amazing reputation in the furniture world for a very, very long time. And, we're just excited. It's always great to have options. And when you have 2 great options, what's better than that? So very excited to work with both companies. There was a question about repair and replacement. So I am currently working with Ethan Allen to identify how that process will work. Had a call with them this morning, to really understand, and with Ace Hospitality, who I believe is managing that process, on how that process will work. And in essence, the understanding for Ethan Allen is that they will, in essence, if a furniture item needs to be replaced, we notify them, and then they will have items in stock locally that we could hopefully get a 24-hour to 48-hour turnaround on. And the item will be built, and we'll be able to replace it, pretty quickly. I also asked them today about repair, and they're going to get back to me on repair processes, because I think that would be great if we could have a repair process as well. So I haven't touched on this with City Furniture yet, because we just found out that they were approved here at Margaritaville. But at Encore, the way that process works with City Furniture is if something breaks, a piece of furniture breaks, we call them, we notify them. Within 24 hours, they will have a replacement item in the unit so that it doesn't impact rentals. And then what they'll do is they'll take the broken item back to their repair shop. Within 24 hours from that point, they'll let us know if that item is repairable or not. If it is repairable, they'll charge us a repair price for the item that is less than a full purchase price, so we can save money and not have to replace the item completely. If it's not replaceable, then they will then bill for the item that they've already brought up and put into the unit. So they do pretty much put it in the unit and allow us to have that period of time to identify if it's repairable or not, and therefore we could save a little bit of money if it's repairable, and again, that's great for all of us. Just some other items that I did learn about City Furniture. They will be offering 1-year free financing, which I think is a great option. I need to talk to Ethan Allen. I'm not aware. You guys might be aware if they're offering. I'm not sure. So that's something that I'll get more information on, get back to you guys on. And then there was also a question about replacement of mattresses and how long should items last. we're typically seeing that for soft goods, it's about a 3 to 5 year period, depending on the quality of the item. Again, Ethan Allen and City Furniture both provide really quality items, so I think that it should be on the longer side. And then for hard goods, it's typically 5 to 7 years. So that's typically our rule of thumb of what we utilize. That doesn't say it could be stretched further or it could be cut shorter. It really depends on wear and tear and a lot of other factors out of our control, but that is the typical that we see. So that is furniture, and hopefully I touched on all the furniture points, clarified everything there. And again, I just want to reiterate, really happy to work with both companies, and I think they're both going to be very successful. Now going into operations on the owner-facing side. So questions that you guys had or things that we do operationally, let's call it, that will really dictate how we do things with you guys as owners. So number one, we do have an owner's portal. That owner's portal is being finalized. It's in process of being finalized, and it should be finalized within the next week or two. But in essence, that portal will allow you to go in, see what's been booked, see your calendar, see certain reports and information, and give you snapshots so that you don't have to call if you don't like to, and you can see updates on your property. Excuse me. So we will have that feature, and if any of you ever have questions on that feature, keep in mind that we will have that dedicated owner relations team. So if you're not sure how to access it or you don't know how to open a report, boom, they're there. Give them a call. They'll be happy to walk you through it and show you how that works. Another one of our key operational points, and it really goes back to how we, how we represent our business, is we do pay all bills on behalf of the owner except for mortgage, property tax, and insurance. So all other bills we pay on behalf of the owner. And the reason for this is, imagine if you went to a Marriott and you're in your room and the water goes off because they didn't pay the bill, or the power goes off because they didn't pay the bill. Now, again, I'm not going to say that you guys are purposely or that you're not going to pay the bills, so please don't take it that way. But as a resort, we want to ensure that that doesn't happen. We know that you're all busy. We know that, really, we hope that as investors, if this is an investment property for you, that we can make this as much of a hands-off investment as possible. And so therefore, you may not want to be saying, oh man, did I pay the bill for that vacation rental home? I hope I did, because if not, that could cause problems. Well, we take that out of your hands. We really do that so that you don't have to worry about that feature, and we do that for you. So that's a really good thing that we do as a company. Another thing that's brought up that I was asked as one of the questions is, how do we handle cleaning fees? And I think there was something that stated that we charge for 7 nights or more, we charge the cleaning fee to the owner. So a couple things there. Number one, we will be doing daily cleaning in the units. Every single unit will have the opportunity to be cleaned daily. Now, just like a hotel, if you're a renter or an owner, you do not want your unit cleaned daily, we'll have a nice little thing that you can put on your door that says "Privacy Please," and our maids team will skip that unit. But every single unit will have the option for daily, and that is not an additional cost. That's built into the pricing. So with that, that's really great for a lot of reasons. Number one, it really helps bridge the gap between people that have not stayed in a vacation home before. I know the first time I stayed in a vacation home, I was waiting for the housekeeper to come. I thought they were going to come every day. Well, we're going to get people that are not accustomed to vacation home, and they're going to expect that. We're going to make sure we hit those expectations. And for those people that have stayed in vacation home, we're going to exceed their expectations. Now, with that also being said, if it is a stay of 7 days or more, I've heard that there were, some, for lack of better words, questions. Why are we doing that? What we've done over the last couple of days is we've decided to change that and have it where we do not charge the owner for clean ever. The only time an owner would be charged for a clean is if you guys are actually coming to stay at your own unit. And at that point, we'll charge you for a turn clean. And in essence, our owner ambassador will ask you if you'd like to have daily clean. If you don't, that's not a problem. We will not charge you for it. You'll not have that service. If you'd like it, then you will be charged for it and you could have that service. Another reason why it's really great that we're doing the daily housekeeping is because it gets us into the unit every single day. And that's really important, because what we don't want to do is, have it where, God forbid, we have some, a group maybe that's not the most responsible, Maybe they're not taking great care of the unit. We can't screen every single renter and interrogate them. So you're going to have every once in a while some people that are maybe not going to be treating the unit the best way possible. If we're in there every single day, we catch that and we can do something about that prior to the guests leaving. Once the guest has left property, it makes our job of making sure those things don't happen that much more difficult. So being able to get into every unit really helps. It really helps us maintain the unit better. From a cleanliness perspective, you don't have buildup. It's cleaned every single day. So that's another benefit to the wear and tear of the unit and making sure that we're in tune with what's happening in that unit on a day-to-day basis. There was a question about management fees and if we charge additional management fees on top of our 30% commission. The answer is no. Now, I want to be very clear that when I say management fee, a management fee is a fee that we would get above and beyond that really doesn't do anything for you guys. It's pretty much saying, hey, we're already paying you commission, but we want more money on top of that. And this fee doesn't pay for anything. We do have additional fees that pay for things that if you were not getting hit with these fees, you would be getting line item charges. So what do I mean by that? And it's really two fees. It's our linen replacement fee and it's our R&M fee. And so what are those fees? Well, if you are with any other company, when linens need to be replaced, you're going to get billed for them. And it may sound crazy, but I don't want to be gross or anything, but you can imagine, people don't treat these linens the same way they do at home. Or, if someone's bleeding, they're going to wipe that, themselves with the towel. That towel cannot be reutilized legally. Who knows what else is happening with the towels. Towels are really the ones that you see a lot of wear and tear. But between blood and other stains and different things that occur, we do go through a lot of linen. And there is a lot of, replacement of that linen to ensure that we're giving a great quality standard of product. We will not put a stained linen in a unit. So with that being said, instead of seeing line item charges every single time items need to be replaced, we do a fixed cap cost. And Steve and Keith can share with you what those costs are. But what we did to create those costs is we've taken an algorithm of exactly how much replacement we go through at Encore, and it's a fixed cost so that you guys don't have to say, am I going to get billed $500 one month and $0 the next month? We want to have it where it's a more consistent level of billing, and you know that your unit's being maintained when it comes to the linen, but you're also not going to have to worry at the end of the month, what's my variable cost going to be? So that's a really great feature for ensuring that there's consistency. And again, it's not a management fee because it does go towards paying for something that you're going to pay for either way, whether you're paying for it in a fixed fee or whether you're paying for it in a line item fee. We just like to make it easy. Same concept when it comes to our R&M. The R&M covers houseware replacement. So same concept. Housewares are going to get broken. Again, unfortunately, people are going to break plates, break items, break the blender in the unit. You name it. There's going to be stuff like that happening. Steve and Keith can provide you with a list of all the housewares that we would replace under the houseware program, but it's pretty much all the small wares within the unit. And same concept. You're going to have a flat rate bill instead of variable bill, and it's going to go towards replacing that. And if let's say someone went in and decided to take every single linen or every single houseware out of the house, we're not going to go back to you guys and say, hey, we need to replace a full set. Sorry, that's not covered. That is covered. That's covered under the program. So you have a renter that says, I really like these towels and sheets. I'm bringing them home with me. We're replacing them. It's on our cost. And again, it's pretty funny, but you go to a hotel, you guys might be the perpetrators of this, but you take robes, you might take towels you like, you take things. That does happen, and we will replace those items. Lastly, we have our minor maintenance repair program as part of the R&M fee. And so any kind of paint touch-up. Steve, can you touch on some of the items? I don't have off the top of my head all the items that are in that program.
Sure, absolutely. We'll do very maintenance-wise as far as monthly costs go, as far as like replacing air filters, making sure that the air conditioning line is cleaned out. This way it doesn't back up and then we have a flood inside the air conditioning unit itself. Burnt out light bulbs, any paint touch-ups. So if somebody comes in with luggage, they're excited to get to Margaritaville. They want to clean their room, so they're running through the house, and all of a sudden they'll go ahead and ding up the wall or whatnot. After the stay, we'll go back in, and then we'll go ahead and then touch up the paint. Any minor drywall repair too, because when they make those corners too sharp, occasionally the drywall will get chipped off on that too. So all the homes have kitchens, and people want to cook in the homes. They cook with onions, and sometimes they'll cook fish and garlic and whatnot. And what we do is we actually go in after that and make sure that the house smells fresh and clean. That's also a part and covered with this program that we have. So really the general wear and tear that you would see in a hotel is what we're also doing to maintain your home, to make sure that the next guest that checks in, they go, holy cow, this house is brand new, it smells clean, it's fresh, and I'm checking into a brand new house, and that guest is then going to go ahead and relay that to their friends and their family and get a big referral and word of mouth as far as the condition of the home and whatnot.
Thank you, Steve. And
Sure.
Steve and Keith will have the ability to share with you the fees on these two programs and exactly what's included in writing so that you can all be aware of it. But great programs, and again, what we found is it just streamlines the variability of expenses, has it where we provide that more consistent return, and again, it's a more hands-off approach to the owner, so you guys really don't have to think about like looking through a statement and saying, what are these 10 line item bills that I received? Hands off. We want to make it easy for you guys. At this point, I know we're at 50 minutes. I just want to apologize. I'm very long-winded. I'm super passionate about our business. Hopefully that comes through. And not only that, but we have such a unique business model that it does take a while to go through it all because we have so many unique features. So I just want to tell everyone, we still have a whole marketing section to go through, and we still have some more owner operations items that I'll breeze through kind of quickly. But again, I apologize if I'm making you stay and watch this for too long. It's just, again, we're very passionate. The next item that I want to talk about for owner operations is our reserves program. We were asked about minimum reserves required. There is no minimum reserves required. In essence, what we do is based on the profitability on a month-to-month basis, we take 5% of that profitability, net income, and that goes into a reserve account. The reserve account is completely kept separate. It is not intermingled with any of our other accounts. And that reserve account will continue to build up. We do have a cap on that reserve account, so that is how our reserves work, but there is no minimum requirement for the reserves. There was a question in regards to pass-through of fees. Is there any fees that are passed through to the owner? The only fee that is passed through to the owner at the time of booking is pool heat fees. So for those of you that do have a pool home, if the guest requires pool heat, we do charge for that. The reason being is because in the colder months of the year, the heating of the pool can drastically impact your utility costs. And what we would like to do is really make sure that we're mitigating that cost, offsetting it with this expense fee. So that is a pass-through fee, so that you guys can have that offset and make sure that pool heat is not hurting your investment. Next question, this is a really hot subject, I know from what I've heard, and so I want to be very clear on it. And again, if you're not sure or if I don't answer this properly, please come back to us, ask us, but this is one we're very sensitive on. Know everyone else is sensitive on, but owner stays. Let's talk about owners staying in their unit. First things first, if an owner is buying this house with the intention of living in it, that's great. Live in it 365 days a year, do what you want with it, great. If you have intention of maybe living at it 6 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year, 3 months out of the year, it'd be amazing if you know when that period of time is up front. And what we can do is we can sign an addendum at the time of contract to state these are blackout dates. And when I use the word blackout, that would be dates in which we do not rent the unit. And so in essence, you have no worries. You can get into the unit whenever you want, and that time is reserved for you. If you don't have those dates predetermined, not a problem either. The rule of thumb for our company is as long as a guest is not reserved in that unit and an owner comes to us and says we want to stay in the unit, we will honor that. That's not a problem. Now, if you are saying to us you want to come stay at a peak time, we will let you know that will impact your investment, and we'll tell you that please don't expect, if you're staying through Christmas and New Year's period, to expect to get the same return you would if you did not stay and that was a rentable time. But I think that's common sense. I think that's kind of known to all of us that if you're staying in the unit, you're not going to get returns. And I say that during the period of time you're staying in the unit, you can't make money off of it, obviously. And so as long as that's understood, we have no problem with having owners during peak times. At the end of the day, guys, these are your units. We do not control how and when you stay. The only thing is that if a renter is there, We need to be able to honor that because we've made a commitment now to that renter that that unit will be available. So that's really the only time where we will say, sorry, we really cannot do that. And that's our policy. So we're very flexible. We understand that a lot of you have the desire to come experience this property the same way renters are, and we want that. We want you guys to be here. We love having you. We look forward to welcoming you. So, please understand that we're very flexible in regards to owner stays. And going back to the addendum, it really does help with the return as well if you do know those times in advance. Because again, our marketing strategy, we're seeing bookings as far as 18 months to 24 months in advance. So the further out you guys know you want to, close out the unit, the better, because it really allows us to make sure that we're having as much booking window as possible to get your returns as high as possible. So that's how our owner stays work. And when it comes to access of the units, again, if you're living in it full time and it is not in the rental program, you will have a key, you'll have a code. You can really put whatever lock you want onto the house, whatever type of lock you want. So if you're a full-time resident not on the rental program, that's how it works. Now, if you are an owner that is in the rental program, you will be required to check in. And the reason why is because we cannot have people going directly to the home in the rare case that there is a renter there at the time that you want to go. And again, I'm not going to say that any of you would be the perpetrators of this, but we do have owners that come to the property unannounced, say, I want to stay in my unit, and it's occupied. And what we do not want to have happen is a young lady showering in the unit and the owner walks in unannounced and or something like that. There's a privacy policy that needs to be kept when it comes to Chapter 509 hotelier law, and we are very, very keen on ensuring that privacy is met. And so that's really our policy when it comes to access of units by owners. There's another question about contract length. And so the way our contract works is that from the date of signing the contract, if you want to cancel the contract, you have to put in cancellation, and there's a 365-day notice period until cancellation goes into effect. If you are wanting a 1-year term, then put cancellation in on the day of signing. Not a problem. You could rescind that cancellation. We will be happy to rescind that cancellation. We want to keep your unit, so that's the goal. We want to do a great job for you so that you want to stay with us. But if you want to make sure that you have the option, not a problem. Put the cancellation in day 1. You will have that option to rescind it at any point. We'll be happy to do so. Now, if you rescind it late in the game, keep in mind, like if you wait 9 months into the year, 10, 11 months into the year, and then you rescind it, keep in mind that we have blacked out the unit on the date of which the cancellation would go into effect, and we are not booking past that date. So that will impact your returns if you rescind a cancellation late in the game. Just want to be very clear that would not be a good idea. So that is contract length. Going into accounting and how accounting works, we have no real estate relations in our company whatsoever. We are not a broker. We do not do real estate. So typically companies in this market that have a component of both would be governed under Chapter 475 guidelines. We are not that. We are completely a hospitality company, and all of our contractual items follow Chapter 509 hotelier guidelines. We follow the exact same accounting guidelines and restrictions as a hotel would. So with that being said, you go to a Marriott, you go to any hotel in the world, we are following those exact same guidelines, and we are governed under Chapter 509. So that is how we do our accounting. When it comes to commission reduction for owner-sourced bookings, because that was another question, if you guys source a booking, and we could get into, Steve and Keith can get into how we do owner bookings, but if that is the case, we do a 5% commission reduction. So the commission on our end will go from 30% down to 25%, and then therefore you guys would be getting 75% of that booking revenue. So that answers that question that you guys had. So that really brings an end to the operation side and the questions revolving operations. We probably have a couple other things that we could touch on regarding operations, but that's really the key. And there are some operational items that are still being worked through with the hotel, Margaritaville, Ace, myself. on how things are going to work and whatnot, on let's call it interaction with the hotel and experiences. So as we gain more information on some of that, we'll be sharing that with you. So now, the exciting part. This is what I'm really passionate about. So if you didn't think I was passionate before, now it's going to go to an overflow level. I love sales and marketing. We pride this company on our sales and marketing approach. Our approach has worked. It is destroying the industry when it comes to returns, ADR, and occupancy. We have a working model, and I'm very passionate about it. So from a sales and marketing perspective, there was a question about strategy. How do we book the units? How do we represent the units? Do we represent it by the door? So you're going to hear me use a couple of terms. AOA, allocation on arrival, and booking it by the door. Booking it by the door is I'm booking Joe Smith's unit, unit 101, and I'm going to put the exact photos and features of that unit, and I'm going to book it through that way. Booking allocation on arrival means that I'm going to book a category. So maybe it's a 2-bedroom premium cottage category. And in that category, it represents multiple units of the same type. And so in essence, then what that allows us to do is when that reservation comes in, we can allocate that to any unit that we want. And what that allows for is an even distribution of rentals. So that's a really key factor to our booking program. So now with that being said, how do we do it? Do we use one or the other, both? Well, before I even get into that, let's talk about the market of vacation home. For those of you that maybe haven't done the research, we've had our agencies do a ton of research, and we've looked through AirDNA, we've looked through HomeAway data, we've looked through other data and research company data on vacation home. And for those of you that aren't aware, if you look at the worldwide travel market, everyone that goes on vacation, the entire worldwide tourism market, only between all these companies that have done these surveys, anywhere between only 3% and 10% of the travel market has stayed in a vacation home. That's staggering. That's very, very little. Okay, I don't want to, as a company, and our strategy as a company is I don't want to play in a piece of the pie that's 3 to 10% when we can play in a piece of the pie that's 100%. And so our marketing strategy is a hybrid strategy, really the first of its kind, that has allowed us to play in 100% of the travel market. So what do I mean by that? Well, we can book through channels that are traditionally vacation home channels. We can book through channels that are traditionally hotel channels. We can book with wholesalers that are traditional to both of those worlds. And we've also had success booking through timeshare channels because of our hybrid approach. So with that being said, I know that one of the questions was posed, well, whoever it was that wrote this was very passionate that this product has to be sold by the door. And I don't disagree. If we're selling it to a vacation home rental clientele, someone that is traditionally used to vacation home, yeah, we're going to be a lot more successful booking it by the door. That's what these people are accustomed to. So if we're listing a unit on HomeAway or VRBO or Airbnb or something that's more traditional to vacation home rental, we will be listing your unit by the door. Now, the issue that we find though is that with most vacation home companies, that's where the marketing stops. You put it on an OTA, you have some referral business from people that have stayed with you in the past, you have a website, but you don't really do a lot of marketing to bring people to your website, and so you're really relying on OTAs with high fees, and that's going to come out of either the owner's pocket or the rental company's pocket, and those companies are really benefiting, because they're booking your inventory. Well, in the hotel business, in the hotel industry, and I was very much trained in hotel, way of doing things, as well as vacation home. You want to limit your OTA business. You want to bring people direct to you and minimize those fees. And not only that, but our marketing strategy of booking AOA, it allows us to market in a way to where, again, I'm now going to be able to appeal to people that are traditionally used to not vacation home. So if you're the person, the 90% of the market that has stayed in a hotel before, I'm going to be able to market to you in a way that you understand. I'm going to be able to book your unit or book you in a way that you understand. and I'm going to be able to have a lot more success in the rotation of that unit. So again, if you go on Expedia, you may see that we're booking by the AOA type. If you go on Airbnb, you're going to see the opposite. So we're taking advantage of both ways of booking. So again, we could eat out of 100% of that pie, and therefore there's so much more exposure for the unit, for the returns, and again, that's one of the key recipes to our success. So that is how we book. Then there was a more specific question, well, how do you actually book it? Do you book it on the website? Do you book it on OTAs, groups, wholesale? Well, I touched on it earlier. We have a very dedicated group team. People in different countries, people that specialize in different types of groups. Right now, group and wholesale will bring in about 35% of our overall business. So that is a big key piece of our business. And the other beautiful thing about wholesale and group is a lot of the time, the lead time on those bookings are longer in advance, and the length of stay are longer. So to give you an idea, at Encore, our average length of stay as a company is 5.8 nights. But the average length of stay for group and wholesale is 7.2 nights. So having our group and wholesale team not only helps us get more bookings, for the people, if you're with a company that does not have that, well, you're not going to get that, but also you are also getting it to where you're getting a longer length of stay, and you're getting typically the same or better rate. So from that perspective, it's really helping with getting better returns as well. OTAs is about 25% of our business. More at 15. I'm sorry, I misspoke. So we have 35 and 15, totaling about 50%. We want to minimize the OTA expenses, which is one of the key features. But more importantly, what happens on OTAs is that every rental management company in the world does not have a way to differentiate themselves on an OTA. You go on an OTA, Keith has his listings, and he's showing front of house, back of house, kitchens, pools, all the same images. Steve has his units, and he's going to show the same stuff. I have my units, I'm going to show the same stuff. So, hey, I'm going to see 1,000 different houses, and they're all going to have pretty similar photos and features and everything else. So when you're on an OTA, how do you compete? Well, you compete with rate. So what happens, and what we've seen on OTAs, if Keith says, I want more bookings, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to drop my rate so I can compete with Nick and Steve's company. So before you know it, well, now I'm saying, I'm not getting bookings. What do I need to do? Drop rate. Steve's saying the same thing. What do I need to do? Drop rate. So what we find on OTAs, and why we like to minimize our OTA business, is that OTAs typically cannibalize each other, and rental companies typically cannibalize each other into having to do lower rates. And lower rates means lower returns, bad for all of us. So we like to make sure that a majority of our bookings are coming away from those offline channels, and that they are really there for filling the gaps. And so that's another key thing is our OTA business. The advanced booking is typically within 30 days to 60 days. So if we get into a period of time where we do not have a lot of occupancy, that's when we're going to open up OTAs. Whereas the rest of our bookings typically have an average window of 6 months. And so therefore, we're able to book those first, prioritize those, bring in the OTAs as a filler. Again, we have 50 wholesale partners. We connect with about 100 different OTAs. We have GDS connectivity, which I don't want to get too technical, but GDS is a platform where we can connect with traditional travel agents, we can connect with tour operators, and we can connect with other big global distribution systems. Some other places that we book. I'm sorry, excuse me. So, and then the other part I was going to say is traditionally 50% of our bookings come from our marketing efforts. So we're going to spend a lot of money and time on marketing the product and bringing exposure to the product, through the website, so that we can convert through our website as well as through our call center. Now, we have found that a majority of conversion when it comes to our own retail marketing direct through us is coming through the call center because people have questions about the product. So again, that goes back to our in-house call center team. Having them in-house helps with conversion. And right now, if you look at all of our retail bookings, I would say 95% of those conversions come through the call center. So not having a call center would be very, very detrimental to your returns as owners. So those are the key places where we're gaining our bookings from, and really how we're strategizing our product mix of bookings. That will be something that is managed by our revenue management team. So again, if we have the option of booking, retail booking versus an OTA booking, we're doing forecasting models where we will see, do we even need OTAs? And if we don't need them, if we can get to 100% occupancy without them, we'll shut them down so that we can maximize returns for all of us. So that's how we get bookings. From a marketing strategy, because again, if 50% of our business is coming from retail, well, we need to be marketing. And that's another key thing in how we capture that 90% piece of the pie that is not exposed to vacation rental. Because if you are only really attracting people through the OTAs, well, I'm not going to get the 90%. The way we get the 90% is to market like a hotel. So as a hotel would market, they're going to market not just a unit. If you're a vacation rental manager, you can't really market a unit and say, well, this unit's so great, I'm going to spend a tremendous amount of money marketing this unit. You're going to have to do that for every single unit, and every single unit's different. Well, the way that we do things is we market the branded resort community. We market the experience. Obviously, we're going to show on our marketing the cottages, but for us, we know that our marketing and attracting other people that are not traditionally in vacation home, we have to paint the picture of how staying in this cottage is a hybrid between hotel, resort, and vacation home. How are you going to get the best of both worlds? And so that's what our marketing focuses on, is really painting the picture that you're going to get that beautiful comfort and amazing features of this vacation home, but you're going to get that in a format of a vacation home resort brand. And here's all the features, the dining, the experience points, the things that you're going to get when you rent with us. And we're going to market it that way. And we're going to show you that when you come and stay with us, here's all the great things you can expect to experience. And by doing that, we're painting a picture, we're engaging with consumers that are used to that. If I'm used to staying at a resort and I'm attracted to resort features, well, if I knew that I can get a home and still have all of that and still get that great experience, well, there's a much better chance I'm going to book you than if I never market to you and I never bridge the gap on how we're really doing the best of both worlds. So our marketing is dedicated to educating consumers, exposing to consumers the brand and how the brand experience will help to make your vacation better, and therefore will book more. So at Encore, through that marketing approach, literally 90% of the people that book with us have never stayed in vacation home, which is pretty much in line with the market of who stayed in it and who hasn't. And so what we found is that we do a ton of surveys, a ton of polling, and what we're finding is that our marketing is engaging with those consumers. People for the first time are saying, I didn't know I can get that in vacation home. I didn't know anything in the world offered vacation home with the benefits of both vacation home and resort. And so when people find out that that is the case in our marketing, it's like a wow moment. It's a holy moly, how did I never see this? Where do I sign up? How do I book now? And so we've had a lot of success in that marketing approach, and that is exactly what we're going to do here at Margaritaville. In regards to marketing, we do a lot of different things. So again, I touched on the in-house team earlier. A lot of our marketing is done in-house, but we also have really amazing agencies that we team up with, world-class agencies that really help bring our marketing approach to another level. So number one, Sendine. Sendine is our CRM company, and that is a company, again, to reiterate, manages our email programming and our outreach to people through email so we can remarket to them and get conversion. Our chief marketing agency for digital consulting and digital placement is Zimmerman Agency, which is part of the Omnicom agency family, which is a top 3 largest marketing agency in the world. And the amount of information and buying power that they bring to the table. And then some really unique programs that we do. Well, actually, before I get into that, we also have a PR company that we work with called Kip Hunter Marketing. Handles all of our PR and getting everything that we do picked up by news stations. She also drives a lot of blogger, influencer, newswriter business to our communities so that we can have these people on site, give them the experience, so they're going to go back, blog about it, write about it, and more exposure for free. And that was a question actually, well, why do we have 5 comp nights? It's for that reason. We use the comp nights at times where we're going to be unoccupied anyway. So if we know that there's going to be no occupancy or smaller occupancy, let's say at certain times of the year, we're going to typically use those comp nights at those times so that in essence you guys aren't losing anything because it probably would have gone unbooked anyway. And instead of having it unbooked and doing nothing with it, we're in essence investing that time into additional exposure that's going to bring future business. So for example, we might have a blogger from the New York Times or a writer from the New York Times that every time they write an article reaches millions of individuals. Well, we might bring them in September when your unit's unoccupied and dead, so that now they're going to expose your product, our product, to millions of individuals, therefore gaining more exposure for future bookings. So PR is really great, and we're very excited about that. I could target anyone that falls into that criteria. We could target exactly to their device ID, and we can pinpoint our marketing efforts exactly to that individual. So our marketing data capabilities just go to a whole nother level. We could pretty much pinpoint anybody, anywhere, any criteria through this geofencing and have it where our spend is that much more effective than it would be any other way. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is with our proprietary beacon technology. To give you an idea, at Encore, our average number of people that come into a unit is 10 people. In our CRM system, we're able to remarket to the person that we spoke to that made the reservation, so one of the 10. We don't know who the other 9 people are. Our beacon technology programs allow us, when people log into Wi-Fi's, to actually gain the data of that individual. So now we can gain that into our CRM. So in essence, if you come into the bandwidth of our access points, then we'll obtain your data and know your interests and how to remarket to you. The second you log into the Wi-Fi, we will now have a full profile automatically built into our CRM that will actually have that person's phone number and email, so we could actually start remarketing to them through email. So when you talk about those programs, our marketing strategy, our agencies, who we're working with, I can tell you with confidence that no one in the world in this market can target better than us, and no one has this marketing approach, and it's working. And so what I'd like to do now is really go into the results and how that works. One other thing I didn't mention really quickly is we also do traditional marketing. So we do TV marketing, magazine marketing, newspapers, you name it. So that's another component to our marketing plan. But with all that being said, does it work? And I've said multiple times it does. So let's talk about that. If you look at the Kissimmee market, and this is information that I'm not making up, I'm pulling from AirDNA as well as our marketing agencies, and we had a consulting firm that did a third-party study on the market as well. When you look at the market average for our comparable units, and I'm using Encore as a comparable because we don't have anything booked, we're not booking it at Margaritaville, we don't have data at Margaritaville, but when you look at how this has been received at Encore, you look at comparable market product to comparable Encore product, the market is running at a $210 to $230 a night ADR, whereas our comparable product is running at a $450 a night ADR. So for those of you that don't know what ADR is, that is average daily rate. So we are double or more than double the average daily rate. That screams volumes. That just says we're killing it. We're killing the competition. When it comes to occupancy, we're in build-out phase here at Encore. We actually have construction occurring. I would not say that we're at the peak of our abilities, and we are still outpacing the market occupancy already by 10%. And we see going into next year, we're forecasting that is going to go to a margin of approximately 30% based on our forecasting. So we're double or more the ADR. We are 10% higher on occupancy. Doesn't take a genius to do the math and say, wow, we're getting way better returns than the market. On top of that, when we're talking about how our marketing has done from an exposure standpoint, this year alone at Encore, keep in mind Encore is not an established brand. It is something Encore Resort at Reunion has really only been marketed for a year and a half. This year alone, we will have over 1 billion impressions in our marketing efforts, and that will result in over 2 million unique visitors to our website. Unique visitors. So 2 million unique eyeballs are visiting our website this year from our marketing efforts, and that is a 300% increase year over year from last year. And we're seeing that same trend almost every single month. So we see that continuing to grow. Again, we're getting tremendous exposure, a tremendous amount of eyeballs on it that have never ever stayed in this type of product before, and it's really helping to make our returns that much better. So that is that's really our our results. The other result, because it's not just about ADR and occupancy, it's also about how well are people receiving our product, what are our reviews look like, and some people are asking about reviews. Being that our company's strategy is that we do not represent LRR consumer facing, that's only an owner facing brand, you will not see reviews associated with LRR. Guests don't even know who LRR is. So, for example, if you're looking to see reviews on Encore Resort at Reunion, our efforts specific to Encore Resort at Reunion, the way that you would have to do that is just Google Encore Resort at Reunion, or go Encore Resort at Reunion Facebook, or go to TripAdvisor Encore Resort at Reunion. Here at Encore, we were the only company, and there was an option for all preferred rental companies to opt into a marketing effort with the brand. We were the only company to opt in. So we actually have it where we are the only company really that's represented on those brand review sites. Now, every once in a while, a rogue company that's not a part of that, like someone outside of our company, our review will sneak in. But I would say out of the 1,000+ reviews between Facebook, Google, and TripAdvisor, 99%, let's call it 5% plus of those reviews are our reviews. They are from our efforts. And when you look at those reviews, we're seeing across the board a 4.6 star or higher. So people are really enjoying our product. The other day I looked at, I think it was the TripAdvisor reviews. We had about 250, I want to say. And out of those 250, there were 7 reviews that were 1 to 2 star. So not a very large percentage. And out of that, there was actually, out of the 7 reviews that were 1 to 2 star, only 2 of those reflected on our company. And again, we were well aware of the situation. We were trying to handle that situation. But overall, I mean, the reviews are off the charts, and people are really having a great experience. So that's really where we're at as a company. I hope this was extremely educational, and hopefully this answered everyone's questions. I think we hit everything. If we didn't, it wasn't my intention to skip it. So again, please let us know. We'll come back to the table. We'll answer any additional questions that you have. The last thing that I'll state is there was a question regarding when should the cottages start booking? And the question was posed in a way that says, reviews are so important, and we don't want to hurt reviews by bringing people in too early. I would agree big time with that assessment. Again, I've probably said this a million times already, but to me, what's going to be spectacular about this resort, what's going to really create the wow factor for these renters is the resort experience. If the resort's not open and you come to a cottage that's in a construction zone and there's no amenities and there's no resort, that's not going to be the experience that is going to make us successful. So based on that, we are starting rentals for arrival on January 1. I actually, in the meeting earlier with Ace and Margaritaville and Encore, Ace also reiterated the same thing, that they were going to start bookings on January 1. So it seems like we're all aligned that in the best interest for all of us in the resort and the returns, and not having to discount rates too much where it becomes super hard to pull back. We all believe that January 1 is the best start date, so we can put our best foot forward, get great reviews out the gate, and really put that experience at the forefront. So that is everything. Again, I hope I answered all your questions. I just want to express one more time how excited I am personally, and how excited we are as a company to work with all of you. You will find with our company that our passion is, really going to. You're going to see it in the execution. It's one thing for me to sit here and say this to you, but I will tell you that we have sleepless nights, and we have so many passionate people that will take what I'm saying and make it a reality and even exceed that expectation. So we're excited to show you that. We're excited to work with you, and we're excited to make this Margaritaville Resort Orlando the best Margaritaville resort in the world and the best vacation home resort brand in the world. So thank you, and we very much look forward to following up with all of you and having discussions. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.